Okay, relationship to nature. You know, there are cultures that relate to natures, like, for example, the Native Americans, they relate a lot to nature and all that, but actually the Hispanic community, like we said, is a very easygoing culture, and they believe in basically que sera sera, because they believe that they have no control over nature, they have no control over fate, that everything is between God's hand. So that's why about nature, and that brought que sera sera. The primary spiritual matters that they have are usually treated by prayers or by medals, you know, of saints or different stones like onyx that will help them overcome whatever matters they have. And then the home, when someone gets sick, the first thing they go for is home remedies. And there is a certain type of tea that is done with certain herbs that they think it cures everything. So they go to abuela, which is the grandmother, or they ask the eldest person in the family, or their neighbor. And by the way, Hispanics, because of personalismo and because of communities, they don't mind sharing. So guess what they share as well? Their prescriptions. Okay? So, you know, they can be going and someone will tell, oh, you know what, this pill, let me feel really good. So why don't you take it? You know, and then it didn't go good, so they go to the next neighbor and they give them another pill. So we have to be aware of that they share prescriptions sometimes. So home remedies, and then if it doesn't work, they go to a herbero, which is like basically a herbologist. And if it doesn't work, they go to Salvador for massage. And for example, the massage they're doing are for fertility for women, or if someone has an empacho, which is intestinal, not obstruction, but like pain in the stomach, and they feel it could be due to food that have been eating that was not really properly cooked, or it's too hard on them, and it stays like a ball in their stomach. So they actually massage the stomach to relieve that, and sometimes they pull the skin on the back till it goes back to its place. And that's how this is one of the remedies. And sometimes it works. But sometimes if it's a bursting appendix, it will take them to the emergency room. So it just like, it does sometimes, like I said, sometimes whatever healing they have can work or cannot work. So they try all that, and then they go to, partera is the midwife that helps especially young children. You know, and then they go to curanderos, and if all that doesn't work and it becomes really acute, then they seek medical advice or medical treatment. So they go through stages. There is a very big concept in the Latino or Hispanic culture called the hot and cold. They believe that we are all fluids, and there are conditions that are hot and cold. And if you have a hot condition, you cannot treat it with cold things. And you have a cold condition, you cannot treat it with hot stuff. What does that mean? For example, if a woman is giving birth, that's a hot condition. Usually they give them ice chips. They will not take it because it's cold, and you cannot treat a hot condition with cold remedies. For example, pneumonia or any respiratory obstruction is considered cold. And if you treat them with penicillin, penicillin is considered hot. They might not take the penicillin because it's hot treating cold. I'm sorry, it's cold treating cold. So you have to be aware of that concept of hot and cold. Usually they consider the cold conditions that cause low metabolic rate and vasoconstriction, where the blood vessels are constricted. The hot conditions are basically have vasodilatation and high metabolic rate. So we need to be careful about the hot and cold in that. So there are certain myths between how, so, and that's why when they have like a cold, they treat it by soups, by chicken soup, because it's hot versus cold, you know, so it comes from the indigenous Indian remedies that they have. And then there are myths, like for example, if a child swims, he has to make sure to wet his hair, if not he will catch a cold. If you are inside the house and you're baking or ironing and it's too hot and you're sweating, if you go outside, you will catch cold.